Hello, this is a brief tutorial video to help you understand how to read your EVOX reports. So these reports are pulled up. I downloaded them and opened them in Adobe or a similar program. I downloaded them from the email. All the emails come from the EVOX software, are from ubwellnesscoaching@gmail.com. These are the raw data reports that I send you. The analysis report comes from my primary email address, and that's a little bit more self-explanatory because I actually write those. So today I'm going to show you just how to read these reports and understand them. So the report on the left is in an email, and the body of the email says perception index key. So we use this chart on the left as a guide to help us understand which, for lack of a better word, pie slice is which when we look at our chart from our reports from our session. So on the right, this is one of my sessions that I downloaded, and this shows you the emails in here are titled Perception Index Charts from your session. So each one of these circles is called a perception index chart. And so this is downloaded. I start at, sometimes you should have baseline or second baseline as the first recording to start, and then you can start at number 1. In this example, I labeled them a little bit different, so it starts in number 1. And to give you a little background, let's back up for just a second. We're looking at the colored portions of these charts. That's the important part. Don't worry about the gray and don't worry about the black. We're looking for the colors. So the highest, and the colors relate to the emotional intensity in a particular region, pie slice, of this chart. So the highest emotion is red. And I think about it as a stoplight. Like red means lots of emotion, full stop on this. Then yellow is the next the second highest intensity. Green is in the middle, it's okay. Blue, like you see here in these ones, is the lowest intensity. And then white is you have no energy in those emotions for that particular pie slice. So again, red, yellow, green, blue. So really when I read this report, I only ever focus on the red and the yellow. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, you can look into the green and blue, but for the most part, just focus on the red and the yellow. And then if a chart doesn't have any red and yellow, you can actually skip over that, or you can look at the green if you want to. If it doesn't have any red and yellow, it means you don't have a lot of emotion on whatever you said. So you just don't need to worry about it as much. Again, focus on the red and yellow in this chart. So I'm going to start with number 1, and I can see that this pie piece right here is yellow. So I'm going to go look at this on the corresponding chart, and the same pie piece is number 5. So then in this report, I know that, like I said, it's if you look in this one, it's 5. So I'm going to scroll here and go down to zone 5. And zone 5, I'm going to read this. It's self-critical versus self-love. So I read this whole explanation of what these emotions are, and I think about what that might mean to me. And then I go, says number 1 up here. I know it's kind of small. So then I go to number 1 and I read in the chart notes, what did I say on number 1? And I just kind of think and reflect for a minute. Okay, when I said time blocking doesn't work because everything takes longer than expected, that's what that note in number 1 says right here. What came up is self-critical. So what does it mean to me that I'm self-critical when I think about my time blocking and my scheduling? So that's what I do. And if there was a multiple red and yellow regions, I would look for multiple regions, but there's only one, so we'll go there. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top. So this one has a yellow right here and a yellow right here. So that corresponds to zone 7 and zone 12. So then I'm going to scroll down in this report and go to zone 7, which is anger versus acceptance of change, and read this whole description. And then I'm going to scroll down to zone 12. This is conflicting beliefs versus congruent beliefs and action. So I'm going to read both of those emotional descriptions. And then I'm going to go down and say, what was I talking about in number 2? So again, it's number 2 because that's what this tiny little number right here says. And then we're correlating it to the line that is titled with the exact same title. So let's go to another one. This one, so you can see how this proceeds on. This one is red and it's here. This one's yellow and it's got 2. Let's go to a chart that has red and yellow. So this is number 6 down here. So you can see that there's red, and here, I'll scroll back up for you to see. There is red here, and then yellow and yellow. So there's a red in 7, a yellow in 8, and a yellow in 5, which means you had the most emotion in 7, which is anger, and anger versus acceptance of change. And then it's 5 and 8. So you read the red zones first. And I like to read all the red zones, because if you have a chart that has a bunch of red and a bunch of yellow, you would only really need to focus on the red. The red is the highest priority to understand. So I would read the red first, which I did in number 7. And then I would go to zone 5, which is self-critical versus self-love, and zone 8, which is fear and overwhelm versus accountability. So that is how you basically read the reports, is you compare these side by side. Some people prefer to print out this key once. You are emailed this perception index chart key every single time. That way you don't have to go digging in your email. I know some people, to make it easier, will just print this once, and then they can, make this report bigger on their screen. Let's see if I can do it now. If you make it bigger, it's a little bit easier to read. You can see that there's you can see these little numbers and stuff a little bit better. So it's really up to you. No printing necessary. I just usually have them side by side on my computer. My mouse doesn't want to work right now for some reason. Okay. So now that's how you read your index perception chart reports. So I will just get rid of these really quick and help you understand how to read the product recommendations. So the product recommendations, and sometimes they say my daily choice. Sometimes it'll say supplements, affirmations, chakras, essential oils, etc. Or it even could say affirmations. The premise is the same with all of those reports. The bigger the number, the more your body is asking for the energy of whatever that thing is. So these are in numerical order. You can see it goes 243, 197, 131. So they're in numerical order, which means the first few items on the first page of your report are the most important to look at. And sometimes, like, these have a big spread, 243, 197, 131. Sometimes they get a lot tighter. Like, look here. This is 67, 66, 61, 59. So these, if the first few ones in your report were all closer in number, you would just kind of look at the grouping in general. But for the most part, you could literally, in any one of those reports, that's a product inventory, you could read the first page and be done if you get overwhelmed. Just know that the first few things of the first page are the most important. So like I said, you don't even need to get to the last page if you don't want to. And how you look at this is you say 243.86. The number doesn't matter, but I'm just highlighting that, so I said it out loud. What this is, it correlates to an affirmation: a new door in my life stands open before me. So out of all of the things in the list, which I scanned for like between 500 and 1,000 things, the most important thing for me was the affirmation: a new door in my life stands open before me. The second most important thing for me was this deep blue rub, and DO stands for doTERRA oils, I guess. I don't know what the O is, but it's doTERRA. And this is just a product. And so you read this description. So some of them have, descriptions, primary benefits. I think I highlighted that. Oh, well, uses, cautions, etc. So you would just read all that. So now let's go down to this one. You can see that's the next highest number. And then you just read across the line. It's Immunomax. That's a supplement for immune system. So what that is here's the benefits. It supports healthy immune. It facilitates shorter duration of cold and flu, et cetera, et cetera. So then the next thing on my report is I deserve the very best life has to offer. So you see, you look for this number, the 10116, and you look for the number and then whatever correlates next to it on the line. So hopefully that was helpful in understanding what your reports say. Again, the most important place to start is with the report that I send you from Kitty Koiko. It's my primary email address. And it says EVOX analysis report. If this is your first time getting an EVOX session, it'll say start here, EVOX analysis reports. And again, that is the most important because I do the analysis of this for you. So I look at this all of the reports for you, and I say, okay, for example, this one talks about immune system function, and then it also talks about digestive system. So I make some notes, and then I go to the next one. Oh, this also says immune system. So I create a tally mark system and kind of organize these by grouping of trends. And so I identify and analyze the trends for you and then rate them in that report by the most important, as well as giving you some constructive instructions on how you can start working with that area. So if you have any further questions, please let me know. I'm happy to explain this further. I'm happy to connect with you and share in any way possible. Take care and have a great day.